Hey guys, what's happening? It is Sunday, May 17th. I know my videos haven't been on the normal Thursday schedule like I had been doing, but we are starting to get rummage sales again, despite the fact that we went from really nice weather to really dry weather to back to wintry weather, and now we're at the point where it has rained 8 or 9 of the last 10 days. So yeah, people are now at this point just saying, screw it, we are going to get a rummage sale done. Went around, I found one lot at a rummage sale, and I'm glad I got it, but that was pretty much all I could find. So first up, this week I went over to St. Vincent's, and all 7 of these games had just been put on the shelf, and they were all marked $2 a piece, except for one of them was marked $4. So I got this lot for $16, but there's a couple of really good games in here for $16. So first up, I know that this is not regarded as a great game, Tomorrow Never Dies, but I love the EA produced. There was Tomorrow Never Dies and The World Is Not Enough on the PS1. I love those games. I played the hell out of them. So I know that they aren't held in high regard, but I do like these games. Then there's Crash Bash, Asteroids. This one I didn't know much about, and I looked it up, and I see it's fairly uncommon to, I'd say uncommon to rare, not, the average sale price puts it at about $14-15, so not a bad pickup. That is Hot Wheels Turbo Racing. Has one of my favorite things, the full color graphics. This is an EA produced game, so I'm glad to get it. I just didn't know much about it. I looked it up, did some searching, and saw that it didn't really... What was it again? I don't think it came out too terribly late in the PS1's life cycle, so I just think that the... yeah, this came out in 1999, so, you know, PS1 was still going strong at that point. Then I got Midway Presents, Arcade's Greatest Hits, the Atari Collection. I have the Midway Arcade's Greatest Hits, the Williams Collection, so I'm glad to get this. Up next is Crash Team Racing. I will ship this off to my sister, as I don't believe she has a copy, but I know she has a PS2 still. So, then last but not least, this is a reasonably valuable game. $20-25. It's in great shape. It's the Black Label edition, so that means it's got the full printed disc, and that is Spyro the Dragon, the first one. I know that a lot of these don't hold up, but for whatever reason, Spyro has always been, especially on the PS1, the Spyro games on the PS1 are held in high regard, and that's because they're actually really good. As it progressed onto the PS2, PS3, Xbox, and Xbox 360, there was a definite dip in quality. That is because Insomniac was no longer on the games. It was Universal started using their own development for it, so Universal has the license, just like I believe, yeah, Universal has the license for Crash, I believe, is the same thing. So anyway, this is still an amazing game to this day. This got played a lot in my house. My sister actually picked this out, I believe, as a Christmas present one year, and she started playing it, and then we both started playing it. It's a pretty amazing 3D action platformer from back in the day. Then I went over to GameStop, or no, yeah, I went to GameStop next. Picked up a couple of... one that's, here's another game that's a bit controversial in the fact that it wasn't a straight-up remaster. There was some areas that are redone, and apparently they added cutscenes and whatnot, but I'm still glad to get it because I want to play it. That's DuckTales Remastered. I imagine this is going to be fairly hard to find as they push the digital release so hard. I don't know if it came with a manual at all. I'll check. It might not have. It might have been one of those games that didn't. With my Gamers Club, not Gamers Club, Power Up Rewards Pro level, this was a $14 pickup. Then this one is getting fairly rare, and I wish I would have never sold it off in the first place. No, wait, I didn't sell this one off. This was one of about a dozen games that got... I did sell it off in the sense that what was left was the disc only, but this was one of the games that got flooded out, so I didn't have box or manual anymore. So the ones that were down to disc only, I traded off just to get something for, because it would have cost me more to replace all the manuals than some of those games were worth. But this is Namco Museum Virtual Arcade. Really glad to get this back. It's got Pac-Man Championship Edition and Galaga Legions, two of my favorite remasters, remakes of classic games. Yeah, this was $19 after my gamer Power Up Rewards Pro level discount. So, like I said, not cheap on that one, but glad to get it. Then I'll stick that here. Then I went over to Goodwill, and they were pretty picked over, except for the fact that they had this Madden 2005 Collector's Edition. The only reason I really wanted to get it was I could care less about football, but it has the excuse me, 16-bit versions of a 16-bit version. They can't. I'm sure they can't come out and say Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo, but it's got a 16-bit version of Madden and two from the PS1 era. So I'm glad to get it. The packaging is actually pretty cool on it. I do see it's fairly uncommon, but not valuable at all. The average price puts it at about $4. I got it for $3. Then it was over to Salvation Army, and they had one thing there. I've gotten some games that are not held in high regard. I actually like this one more than the fourth one for sure, and that is Devil May Cry 2. I think part of the problem is everybody's getting into that open world thing, and they kind of opened up the world in Devil May Cry 2, and part of the reason that Devil May Cry 1 was so good was it had a very claustrophobic feeling. You were sort of right there, and when you opened it up and made the environments bigger and larger, it didn't have the same immediacy that the Devil May Cry 1 had. So I know Devil May Cry 2 is not held in high regard, but I actually prefer this one. I like Devil May Cry 1, Devil May Cry 3, the new DMC reboot, and then I would say this is probably the third in the series for me, and Devil May Cry 4 is dead last. I absolutely hated that game. I don't know what it was about that one in particular that did not grab me. I just didn't think it was a good game at all. Alright, then an eBay lot came in. It had 2 games in it, and I could really care less about the other game. In fact, I already traded that off. That's that Boogie from Electronic Arts, a rhythm game. I've had it for every system now that it was out for, and I've traded it off every single time because I really don't care. But the game that was in it, the lot ended up being $4. And it was $4.99 after shipping, because I ended up winning the lot for 99 cents. Both games were in great shape. So yeah, this person obviously took care of their stuff. They just didn't want to go through the hassle of listing stuff individually. I see they were selling a bunch of PS2 and Xbox and GameCube games. Nothing that I really wanted other than this one game, and this one game is Super Monkey Ball Deluxe for the PS2. My sister absolutely loves this game. I think she still might have it, but yeah, for 99 cents, I see individually average price is about $12. The only reason I found it is he didn't have Super Monkey Ball in the title. He just had it listed as PS2 game lot, and he was selling them off in doubles. So he's selling 2 games a piece, and each lot started the bidding at 99 cents for each one. And this was probably the best. Otherwise, the rest of it was a lot of sports games. He had one GameCube auction, and this is to be expected. He had one GameCube auction, and it was Mario Kart, and then like a piece of junk thrown in. So like I said, I think he's trying to weed through his collection, get rid of it, and that was the one that was through the roof. That was at like $44 at one point. But yeah, Super Monkey Ball Deluxe on its own, I see goes for about $10 to $12. So to get it for 99 cents, pretty good deal, especially since I got like $1 in trade on Boogie. So I basically got after shipping and everything was done, I got this for $3.99, which I'm not going to complain about, because to find it in town here, I'd have to pay a lot more for it. So, another eBay lot came in, and this one was also $4.99. There's not much in here that there's only 2 games in here I actually needed for my Xbox collection, but first one is X-Men Legends. I already have this. It's a Blockbuster thing. I'll probably just trade it off, because lots of Blockbusters did that with their display art for some reason, and I have no idea why, where they would tear it across the bottom. It makes no sense to me, but whatever. Then the other one is Mech Assault. I already have this. It is complete. It has the... Actually, no, it's not. It has the Xbox Live stuff in here, but does not have the manual, but I don't care. This is relatively not valuable at all. It is a good game, but not valuable at all. To be fair to Mech Assault 1 and 2 are fantastic games. Sorry about that. They're fantastic games, just not very valuable. One I don't have, and this is also held in low regard, like it got average to middling reviews, but I've said before, I'm a huge Hulk fan, and this is the Hulk for the Xbox 360, or Xbox, the original Xbox. The interesting thing about this was, I remember when I got my first Xbox, the Hulk, this version of the Hulk had just come out on DVD, and one of the special features on the special edition on the second disc had a playable level of the first level of the Hulk, and once you got to the end of it, it was thanks for playing. I know Xbox did some co-branding way back when with Marvel and Universal, because, you know, the Hulk is big and green, and the original Xbox was big and had the green, massive green logo, and they've stuck to that green for the entire run. You know, it was black and green on the original one, green and white on the 360, and then they just have the big green background when you fire up your Xbox One. Now, if those of you who haven't seen that fire up screen, don't correct me on that, because I know a lot of you keep it in standby mode, so it just goes right back to where you were. It doesn't go to the start screen every time, but if you haven't seen it, that's really weird to me, because you should have seen it the day you opened it up and hooked it up, and you should see it every time it updates, but whatever. Last but not least, and this is in a really weird case. I think this is just a DVD case that happened to be a greenish color. That's fine, I've got plenty of Xbox cases, but that is Batman Dark Tomorrow. Love this game. I have the, what is it, the Rise, or Batman Vengeance, and I believe, looking over the collection here, is it the Rise of Sin Tzu, something like that? Yeah, I have that on the PS2, I believe, but I don't have Batman Dark Tomorrow at all, so I'm glad to get that for the Xbox collection. Then, a massive lot of Xbox RPGs came in. I have one of these is staying, 2 of these are staying, the rest are going up for sale. First up is Dragon Age. Wow, this is already 6 years old. Wow, crazy. Dragon Age Origins Awakening, the expansion to Dragon Age 1, or Dragon Age Origins. One of my favorite RPGs right here, and I know it's not a perfect game by any means, but there's a lot of fun to be had in this game. Solid 100 hours of gameplay, especially if you got the I can't remember the expansion pack. It was huge. That was huge as well. It was basically adding a whole extra game to the world of Antilor. That's where this takes place, and this is, like I said, one of my favorite. As I peel off labels here, sorry, I should have done that before, but. This is Two Worlds 2. I absolutely love this game. It's kind of tough to find. You don't see it out there a ton, just like Two Worlds 1, but they were so sort of held in low regard and kind of janky that they didn't get held in high regard. However, Two Worlds 2 certainly addressed the problems of Two Worlds 1, and they were very tongue-in-cheek about it during the gameplay. I remember that. And, yeah. I played the hell out of both of them and had a blast with them. This one is fairly uncommon. Let's see. This has got... Yep, this is Nier, and I'm debating... I have it for the PS3. I'm debating on whether I should hang on to it for the 360, just because it's kind of an uncommon game. Yeah, there was a time there where it shot through the roof, where people were paying like $40, $50 for it, and then, if I remember correctly, I think GameStop paid for a repressing of it. I'm not positive on that, but so you could only get it at GameStop for a while in new condition. But yeah, I have no idea if there's any truth to that rumor that GameStop actually paid for a repressing of Nier. But like I said, it's a fairly uncommon game, and I might hang on to that for the 360. I already have this, so this is going to get traded off. I got this lot on a steal. I'm not even going to tell you what I picked it up for, because I'm going to sell each game individually, and I don't want people thinking that I should give them a deal. This is El Shaddai, Ascension of the Metatron. It's an Ignition Games. It's from Ignition Games and UTV. This is based on, if I remember correctly, like a... What is it again? It's as someone who's not Jewish, I can't fully explain it to you. I just know it has to do with Jewish lore, I guess, is the best way to put it. I don't know enough about it, so I don't know enough about the El Shaddai thing to go into it, but I know it's based on Jewish lore. Then I already have this, so this will go up for sale. That is The Last Remnant. I might actually keep this one. It's actually, the case and artwork are in better shape than mine, so I might keep this one and sell the other one off. Then I got this. It's complete with manual, but it has a rental label from Hollywood Video. Do I have this already? I can't remember. There was mainly two things I wanted out of this lot, and what I paid for it, I couldn't pass it up. So anyway, I'm looking over my collection. I do not see it over there. Let's see if it was there. It would be right. Nope. It would be in by Enchanted Arms, and I don't see it there. So I'm glad to actually get this. This is Eternal Sonata. If I remember correctly, I think the PS3 version is the one to get. So I'm glad to get this either way. And I'll put it in a different case, because I see it came in Hollywood Video, had it in one of those, I don't know if the camera can pick that up. There's a 3 on there, meaning that tray is deep enough to hold 3 discs. So I'll put it in a different 360 case, just to be safe. If you hear a little chiming in the background every once in a while, it's my phone. It's been going off. One of my best friends in the world graduated yesterday. She's a doctor now, so super proud of Katie. But Facebook and Twitter are blowing up because of it. So if you hear it, it's nothing weird is happening. It just happens to be Facebook and Twitter going off. Now, this one is relatively valuable, and I will be selling this off, probably at regular auction price or on local Craigslist and whatnot. This is Tales of Vesperia. And I said before, I'd recently gotten back into the Tales series thanks to Symphonia Chronicles. And I don't think I gave Vesperia a fair shake, because everybody's telling me when I talk about it that this is a high water one in the series. So I think I'll get back into it. Alright, last but not least, this game is definitely a rare game, but not super valuable yet. And I can't understand why, because it's fantastic. It's from Larian Studios, and Focus Interactive originally published the Ego Draconis version of this game, but this is Divinity 2, The Dragon Knight Saga, and Atlas published this. It's complete. The manual is a monster. I don't know if you can pick up how thick that is. The manual is a monster. It's a fairly involved action RPG. Like, you have a lot of systems and whatnot to learn. You can also turn into a dragon. That being said, this version is fairly uncommon, definitely on the rare side. Not super valuable yet, but this is going up for sale. And this is the reason this version is kind of rare, is that it came with the Divinity 2 Dragon Knight Saga, the original soundtrack, and that hasn't even been unopened, so I know this disc is pristine. Yeah, I'm glad to get this. I'm gonna keep, like I said, I'll probably hang on to Nier, Eternal Sonata, and Is it Nier, Eternal Sonata, and that's probably it. And then the rest of it will go up for sale. Then it was a rummage sale lot, and I talked the guy into taking $1.50 for each of these games. So I was glad to get it, especially since one of my favorite YouTubers, Retro Gamer Central, the RGC, has talked about this game. He said he wasn't keen on the controls, but I'm okay with that. There's a 5-game lot for the Wii, and I'll go through what's probably the garbage first. This is M&M Adventures. I know nothing about it. I can't imagine it's a good game. It seems like shovelware to me. And you know what? It may be a good game. I'll certainly throw it in before I trade it off and see what it's like. Anubis 2 looks like a character action character action platformer. It looks kind of stupid, to be honest with you, judging by the back. But there again, I give everything a whirl before I sell it and trade it off, so I don't judge a game too harshly. This one I actually wanted because I'd read good things about it. Just you know, it had to go up against bigger and more well-known games, and that is Mushroom Men Spore Wars. Yeah, it looks pretty weird to me. I'm assuming it's got some sort of RPG-ish elements because you make and create weapons. I don't know how much of this is motion control based. I'm hoping there's not a ton, but yeah. Then this was the game that RGC has been talking about, and that is the Monkey King. Is it The Legend Begins from UFO Games? They're primarily shooter company. They make side scrollers and top down shooters. And the tilt controls look a little bit weird, like you supposedly tilt it down this way to go slower and this way to go faster, so it's got sort of a steering wheel component in it. I'm just hoping that the rest of the controls just control like a regular controller, and maybe you can turn that off, and if you can, I will definitely do that. And last but not least, a fairly uncommon, not super rare or anything like that, but fairly uncommon game, and that's Knight's Journey of Dreams. I will have to complete this, as it has the... This is another... I think this is Hollywood Video artwork. I'll have to complete that. Surprisingly great shape for being a former rental. I won't need to get it buffed out or anything. But, yeah. There's one last pickup after when I was over at Rock 30. I traded off a bunch of stuff, and I went all in and grabbed a Retron 3. I know the Retron 5 just came out, but I don't want to drop the box that much. I know the Retron 5 just came out, but I kind of have no desire to get one because I have a GameCube with the Game Boy Advance player on it, and I have no desire to play Famicom or Super Famicom games. I know there's some great Japanese games, but I don't have enough time always to play the English release versions, so I would rather just have my Retron be able to play. I've got it hooked up. It plays Genesis, it plays Nintendo, and it plays Super Nintendo games all in one. It's already hooked up. I've already played a bunch of NBA Jam Tournament Edition and some Final Fight. So yeah, glad to get it. I'm still going to do a classic gaming area because the Atari doesn't run through my upscaler very well, and I don't really want to... If I found an Atari 2600 on the cheap, I would probably do this, but I don't really want to install the S-Video mod that you can do on a 2600. I'd like to keep it in as close to original shape as possible. But yeah, so I will have this wiring mess now that I've got everything hooked up will be fixed and completed this week. And hopefully within the next week or two, I will have a pickup video, or not a pickup video, a game room tour video. It's pretty close to complete right now. I've got all my retro old stuff over here in what I call the office with my dual monitor setup. Then I have the big rig of 48-inch Sony and PS3, 360, PS4, Xbox One, and original Xbox all hooked up over there. And the main reason is with that Unleash X dashboard I have installed on my original Xbox. I can run it in 1080i, and it looks gorgeous on that TV. It just forces everything into 1080i. So yeah, I will see you guys next week. There's a lot of stuff here, so I'm not going to do a recap, but I'll see you next week, and hopefully within the next week or two I will have a game room tour. And last but not least, I will actually get to do some more live streaming and stuff like that, because I start a different job. I work for the Grand Forks Herald currently as a carrier. I start a different job. I'll be on the distribution side, getting the papers out to the carriers, as opposed to actually home door-to-door delivery. So I'm excited for that, because I actually get nights off, and it actually is better pay than what I get as a carrier. So yeah, I'll see you guys later, and hopefully be a little more consistent on some gameplay videos and some live streams. I think my girlfriend and I are going to do a live stream of Space Invaders, the PS1 remake, and we'll stream it live and see if we can speedrun it or something to that effect. Otherwise, we'll see you later.